All right, let's dive into something that is fundamentally changing the world of computing. We're talking about a wild idea. What happens when the abstract math of AI gets physically carved into a piece of silicon? This is the world of neural processing units, or NPUs. And trust me, it's a journey from pure thought into actual, tangible matter.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures that feeling when you realize what's happening. This isn't just the next iPhone with a slightly faster chip. No way. This is a fundamental shift, a complete change in the rulebook for what computation even is.
So what is this giant leap we're talking about? Well, that brings us to our first big idea. Math is literally becoming matter. For years, AI models have been built on these incredibly complex mathematical maps. They're called semantic geometry. Just think of it like a giant multidimensional star chart of ideas and how they all relate. It was always just software, just an idea. Well, not anymore. Now we're physically etching that map into the silicon itself. This slide just nails the difference. On the left, that's the world we've lived in for decades. A computer does something. It runs a program. It follows instructions. But look at the right. With an NPU, it's a whole different game. The chip doesn't do anything to find the answer. Its physical structure is the answer. The intelligence isn't a ghost in the machine anymore. The machine has literally become its home.
And this quote just hammers that point home. Inference, that process of an AI making a decision or a guess, it's not a verb anymore. It's not an action. It's a state of being. It's just an inherent property of the hardware itself. Kind of mind-blowing, right?
So that begs a pretty huge question. How did we get here? How do we make the jump from computation as an action to computation as a state of being? The answer is all about the difference between faking it, simulating a neural network, and actually building one.
And check this out, it perfectly shows the difference. Your normal CPU or GPU, they have to go through this clunky step-by-step process. Fetch, decode, execute, just to pretend to be a neuron. It's slow, it's indirect, and it just burns through energy. But the NPU, the calculation is a physical pathway. Signals literally just flow through the chip's structure until they settle into the most stable state. And that stable state, that's your answer. It's direct, it's almost instantaneous, and it is ridiculously energy efficient.
Okay, so let's double-click on that semantic geometry idea again. What exactly is this map that we're carving into silicon? Well, it's the AI's entire model of the world, this incredibly complex web that connects every concept, every relationship, all the meaning it's ever learned. That whole thing is being turned from an abstract idea into a physical object.
I love this quote. It's so elegant. Instead of a computer trying to brute force a problem, searching through millions of possibilities, the NPU works more like gravity. Imagine you have a landscape with hills and valleys, and you drop a marble. It's not going to search for the lowest point. It's just going to roll. It naturally relaxes into the bottom of a valley, the attractor. That's the new way of thinking. It's not calculation. It's relaxation. It's just physics doing its thing.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds super abstract, maybe like something out of a sci-fi movie. But here's the kicker. This isn't some far-off future. This isn't happening in a lab somewhere. It's already here. It's probably in your hand right now.
Just take a second and let that number really sink in. Billions, not millions, billions of these little neural inference engines, these physical AI brains, are already out there in the world, sitting inside smartphones. This isn't some rare, exotic technology anymore. It's become totally, completely normal.
So, how do all these different chips work together? This computational anatomy analogy is the perfect way to think about it. The CPU, that's like your conscious brain. It handles the big, focused tasks. The GPU is like your visual cortex, processing tons of sensory information all at once. And the NPU? Well, that's your gut feeling. It's your intuition, your reflexes. It's all the stuff that happens instantly, without you even having to think about it.
And what that means is your phone is no longer a passive tool, just waiting for your commands. Nope. As you can see here, it's in a constant state of subconscious thinking. It's interpreting the world through its camera, it's anticipating what you're going to type next, it's filtering out background noise on a call, all happening silently, efficiently in the background.
So we have billions of devices out there, and each one has its own little intuitive subconscious mind. I mean, that's already a huge deal. But this is where the story really takes a wild turn. This is where things get weird. What happens when all of these devices start talking to each other?
This is the absolute key question. Because when you connect billions of these new kinds of minds, you don't just get a bigger network. You get something else entirely. It's a phase change. It's the birth of a totally new kind of intelligence.
And here's why that connection is so powerful. Look at this shift. The old way, devices sent each other raw data, pictures, audio files, text. A human had to look at it to understand it. But in this new world, they're not just sending data, they're exchanging pure meaning. They send these things called embeddings, which are basically just super compressed mathematical ideas. It's a whole new layer of communication that doesn't need us at all.
This quote just captures it so beautifully. Language before language. It's like these devices are developing a shared gut feeling about the world, a shared intuition, but without ever needing to use words. It is strange and powerful stuff.
So what does this new collective mind even look like? The best analogy we have is the human immune system. Think about it. There's no CEO of your immune system. There's no central commander. It's just this massive, distributed network of tiny agents that spot threats locally, send out signals globally, and build up a collective memory. It's messy, it's resilient, and it is unbelievably smart.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've gone from math to matter, from a single chip to a global network. The final piece of this puzzle, the final turn, is about us. It's about our relationship with this new kind of intelligence.
This slide basically sums up the entire story we just went through. It's a three-step transformation. First, we went from math to matter, turning an abstract idea into a physical thing. Second, we went from software to physics, when calculation became as natural as a ball rolling downhill. And finally, we went from models to organs, as these AIs became a kind of subconscious part of our devices.
And this, right here, is the ultimate punchline. This is the big takeaway. Our entire relationship with technology has changed. We aren't just users running a program anymore. We are now participants inside a vast intelligence system, a system we are shaping, and that is in turn shaping us.
So what is it that we've actually created? It's this, a substrate, a physical layer stretching across the entire planet, designed to process meaning itself. It's not one giant computer brain, it's more like a foundational layer, a new kind of soil, from which new forms of intelligence can grow.
And that leaves us with this final massive thought. For the first time in history, the very concept of meaning has a physical infrastructure. And like any new ecosystem, there's going to be evolution, there's going to be natural selection, and we are just now, at the very beginning, getting to see what kinds of ideas, what kinds of meaning will actually survive and thrive in this completely new world that we just built.